Truth and Mystery with your host, Dr. Douglas James Cottrell. We are journeying together through the deeper meanings behind today's world events, ancient wisdom, and the quiet whispers of the divine. We're going to reflect, remember, and reconnect. If this is your first time with us, welcome to the family. Make sure to follow us and ring that bell, check those checks, and click on that link to subscribe wherever you're watching and listening from wherever you are in the world. This show isn't just a broadcast. It's a broadcast with intention, with spirit, and with love. Now, here is Douglas.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to come into your home. We're getting to the holiday season here. Summer is well underway. We've had the summer solstice. We're now in the longest days of the year. And as such, being a full moon this weekend, we've seen amazing events taking place around the world. Congratulations to all those teams that are playing in the FIFA Soccer Championships. Canada is still in the running. America's still in the running. And I understand everybody's just having an amazing time. I want to welcome you to the show tonight because it's July the 4th coming up. And of course, that's the birth date of America, Independence Day. And it's a very important day in the whole making up of the Western world. Independence from tyranny, independence to seek your own way of life, a matter of the sky's the limit, freedom is in front of you, the wind's at your back, and all we owe it to those people back in the 1776 time when the Constitution was written, the revolution started, and a nation was born. God bless America. Tonight's show is the revolution of the soul. It's from the Declaration of Independence to the Constitution of the human heart that we're going to talk about tonight. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas James Cottrell, and I thank you wherever you're watching from around the world. This Friday, millions of Americans will celebrate once again, for 250 years now, Independence Day. A date that's ingrained in everybody. We know what it means when you say, what are you doing for the 4th? Or we refer to the 4th of July. It's a day filled with parades, fireworks, the traditional gatherings, and patriotic reflection. It commemorates one of the most remarkable moments in recent history, when 13 small colonies who were bound to Great Britain declared their independence from the greatest empire on earth at the time. To Great Britain, 1776 was a rebellion. To the colonists, it was a revolution. Depends, you see, on which side you're standing, and also which side of the ocean you lived at that particular point in time. History often depends upon your location. So, the old say, location, location, location. But tonight, let's look beyond politics, beyond military history, and even beyond national identity. I'd like to ask you a deeper question, as to you, my friends, and you can reply in the chat. Oz is sitting there waiting for your questions. He's producing the show. He's behind the scenes. So here's the question. What is true freedom? Can a nation be politically free while its people remain imprisoned by fear? Can a society possess liberty while individuals are still chained by hatred and greed, resentment, prejudice, and despair? Perhaps the greatest revolution humanity has ever experienced was not just fought on a battlefield. Perhaps it occurred quietly in the human heart. The American Revolution changed a nation. The teachings of the Messiah, the Christ, changed the world, and they continue to change the world. One established political liberty, the other offers spiritual liberty. The Declaration of Independence boldly proclaimed that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That a revolutionary statement that was made in the 18th century that kings claimed divine authority, empires ruled through privilege, birth determined your status in the world, power belonged to the few, And yet those words announced something extraordinary. Every human being possesses value, not because government grants it, but because the great Creator bestowed it upon you. Now compare the remarkable declaration that something Jesus taught nearly 18 centuries earlier. Christ never measured a soul by wealth, nor did he measure a soul by nationality. He never missed or measured a soul by race. He never measured a soul by education. He measured every person by the love of God. He healed the ethnic groups around him, his enemies, the civil tyrants of the time. He healed the Romans. He healed the Jews. He healed the Samaritans. He spoke with women who were somewhat on the shady side, and society discouraged it. You may remember those stories, how he went to those who were in need. He touched lepers when no one else would approach them. Think of that. People who were unapproachable were considered unclean, and of course, there was that possibility of you being contaminated with that feared leprosy disease. Christ forgave sinners, others condemned. He taught that the kingdom of God belonged to everyone willing to receive divine love. Think about how revolutionary that was at that time. You know, governments divide civilians. Christ came and united souls. Governments establish borders. Love knows none. Governments create laws. God writes upon the conscience. Perhaps the greatest constitution ever written isn't printed on parchment. Perhaps it's written upon the human soul. As we celebrate America's 250th anniversary, perhaps the world itself is approaching another revolution. You know, spiritual awareness is on the increase. People are hungering to understand and come close to God Almighty in this time of extremes, this time of chaos. So this is another revolution, not one of muskets and armies, but one of consciousness. And right here on the Soul Report Live, we're here to help to expand that consciousness, that understanding that is written upon your heart, the freedom that love bestows upon you. So let us continue. Look around us. People everywhere are questioning old assumptions. They're searching for purpose rather than possessions. They're asking not merely, how can I become successful? They're asking, why am I here? These are the questions that start a revolution of the heart. These are the longings for people who want to know that there is more beyond the corporal or temporal or material things of life. This is the light that is breaking through. This is the part of the revolution that is taking place. Technology has connected the world, as we all know, but it has not yet united hearts. Artificial intelligence grows more sophisticated. I love my AI. Communication becomes instantaneous, which is also something we all enjoy. Yet loneliness increases just the same with all the social media. Anxiety increases with all the self-help books and advisors and podcasts. Division increases. More prejudice are popping up. And those who would be the fascists, the dark side people are approaching and making themselves present, disguised sometimes as meaningful, but you can always tell by their constant bereavement of other people, of their demeaning different races and religions, their condemnation of people of color. Perhaps we need more wisdom in the world, not another invention, but we need another awakening. We need the evolution of the soul. Spiritual evolution doesn't happen by accident. There are no coincidences in the world if you're a student and have studied the spiritual books. It becomes every time evident as we forgive instead of retaliating. It becomes evident every time someone chooses compassion over judgment. Every time someone gives hope where despair once lived, they are awakening. They are demonstrating the revolution of the soul. They are being a good person, a spiritual person. Every time someone serves another without expecting recognition, there's the quiet revolution. History rarely records these people or these events, these good people, these souls who are ascending and becoming more aware that the quiet revolution within the heart is taking place. History, people, books, society, it doesn't record them. Heavenly forces surely do. On the skein of the Akashic, on the understanding of the consciousness of yourself, your deeds are recorded. You know what? Imagine if every person listening tonight became a revolutionary. Not politically, of course, but spiritually speaking. Imagine beginning every morning asking yourself, how can I make someone else's burden lighter today? Imagine ending every evening asking, did I leave the world a little kinder than I found it today? That's how civilizations truly change, my friends. Not merely through elections, not merely through constitutions, but through transformed character. Are you ready? Do you want to join this revolution? This leads me to something that I want to call the constitution of the human soul. And we're going to discuss that tonight. Here are some steps we could all apply to our new constitution worldwide of the human soul. Article 1. Every soul possesses infinite worth because it originates in God. Article 2. Every soul deserves dignity, regardless of their race, religion, nationality, circumstances in life, their wealth, or whatever else that would separate them and cause attention to be drawn to them. Article 3. Freedom carries responsibility. You've heard all about the responsibilities and the cost of freedom and how we must defend ourselves to keep our freedom. Well, freedom carries the spiritual responsibility. Our liberty must never be another person's oppression. Article 4. Love is stronger than fear. Truth is stronger than deception. Compassion is stronger than hatred. Article 5. Forgiveness liberates both the forgiver and the forgiven. That's an important Article 5. Article 6. Service is the highest expression of greatness. Article 7. Every act of kindness becomes part of humanity's spiritual inheritance. Article 8. Faith is not blind belief. Faith is courageous trust that goodness ultimately prevails. Article 9. Every generation must renew these principles within themselves. Article 10. The greatest revolution begins when one human heart awakens to divine love. Perhaps this is the true Independence Day every soul seeks. Freedom from fear, freedom from guilt, freedom from anger, freedom from prejudice, freedom from the illusion that we are all separate from one another. As Scripture reminds us, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. The liberty isn't granted by kings. It cannot be revoked by governments. It cannot be purchased. It cannot be conquered. It can only be discovered. Perhaps that is the revolution our world needs right now. Not another political movement, a movement of awakened hearts. Not another battle between nations, but a reconciliation among our neighbors. Not another argument over who is right. A rediscovery of what is good and just. The American Revolution changed history. The revolution of the soul, your soul, changes eternity. May each of us become citizens not only of a nation, but of God's kingdom, where love is the law, compassion is the currency, truth is the foundation, and every soul is forever ever cherished. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this, and we'll continue exploring how one of us, all of us, can become part of this quiet revolution that is already changing the world. Your heart, my heart, everyone's heart, one heart at a time. We'll be right back after this short message.
Are you searching for clarity, wisdom, and a deeper understanding of the spiritual world around you? Meet Douglas James Cottrell, PhD, a visionary author and teacher who's helped countless people transform their lives. His books are a gateway to profound insights, offering guidance, inspiration, and the tools you need to unlock your full potential. From unlocking your intuition to discovering spiritual truths, Douglas's books are your trusted companions on the path to personal growth. Don't wait. Start your journey today. Visit his website douglasjamescottrell.com to explore and purchase his life-changing work. Your next breakthrough is just a page away.
And welcome back, my friends. I hope you're enjoying the show tonight. We're going to continue on with the 10 duties of a citizen of the soul in just a second. And also we have the 2-minute words of advice from my amigo AI, the 2 minutes of soul wisdom that each week we put together with this. I want to remind you that tonight's show is for you and to help you gain insight and to develop your spiritual abilities. I'm announcing, and I have announced recently, that we have an upcoming master's course on how, master spiritual course, if you will, on how to develop yourself to become like Edgar Cayce or Ross Peterson or other people that are out there in the world who have contributed with their spiritual abilities and gifts. Go to my website, douglasjamescottrell.com. It's right there. It's my name on the bottom. And you'll be able to find out more about that. It's upcoming, it's brand new, and we're just starting this master class. Okay, back to the show. The 10 duties of a citizen of the soul. If we go to understanding that we're attempting to put together a constitution based on the revolution of the soul, here's some direct aspects of the 10 duties as a citizen of the soul you can share. Number 1. Seek truth above opinion. We live in a world overflowing with opinions. Way too much, in my opinion, but not enough by other people. Social media is something I didn't grow up with, so I can kind of look at it from the outside in. But I have young relatives who don't know anything else about cell phones, tablets, and computers, and they live on social media. It's their lifeline. I would like to see them being more socially active. However, I digress. Let's get back to seek truth above opinion. We live in this world that's overflowing with social media, and everyone is given a microphone, but not everyone seeks wisdom. The citizens of the soul doesn't ask, what do I want to believe? The citizen asks, what is true? Truth requires humility. Truth requires listening, and truth requires courage. You see, not everyone wants to listen to the other person. They want everyone to listen to themselves. And those people who talk too much usually talk more than they know as a spiritual wisdom. Some Orientals, holy masters said that one. The point being is that the Messiah told us, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Think about that. Those are not just words. In this first Number one, 10 duties of a citizen of the soul. Pay attention. Freedom brings with it means that you have to be honest. But again, be quick to talk. Listen intently. Number one article is, what is truth? Duty number two, practice compassion daily. This takes an aware person. Don't be caught off guard. Don't be, doing something when something happens and you don't have time. Compassion isn't something reserved for emergencies. It's something we practice and should practice every day. And it can be simply a smile, or a kind word to someone, or to listen, have a patient ear. You can lend a helping hand. I found that small acts performed consistently change lives. You don't have to change the world when you wake up in the morning, but if you help someone just a little every day, pretty soon that helping hand turns into be a gigantic benefit. People may forget what we say. They rarely forget how we made them feel. So think about that, my friends. It's better, action is better than words. Duty number three, forgive quickly. Holding resentments is like drinking poison while hoping someone else becomes sick. Forgiveness isn't saying wrong never happened. It means refusing to allow yesterday's pain to become your tomorrow's prison. The first person forgives free. It is and frees itself. We free ourselves by forgiving. Duty number four, respect the divine in every person. You have to look for it. Some people hide it. Some people mask it. Some people are a little shy at showing their spiritual evolution or that divine spark within because they're carried up and they get sidetracked in the world. But remember, every person carries a spark of God within its life. We all are souls from God. We all are of God and from God. Some people have forgotten it. Some have hidden it away. And some never have discovered it yet. Nevertheless, the divine image remains. When we learn to see souls instead of labels, our world changes. Duty number five, choose service over selfishness. History remembers conquerors. Heaven remembers servants. The greatest people I've known weren't famous. They simply made other people's lives better. Christ washed the feet of his disciples. A very famous story. Imagine that. The master, the one held up on high, became the servant. The lesson still astonishes me, but I've seen it with great people who show kindness to what we would call the ordinary person, the little people like me. Duty number six, live with gratitude. Gratitude transforms ordinary days into sacred moments. A grateful heart cannot remain bitter for long. When we count our blessings, and we should often, fear loses its grip on us. You don't fear what you don't have. You don't fear something's going to be taken away from you. You are grateful for what you have, and hope quietly returns. Duty number seven, be a builder of peace. Peace doesn't happen because governments sign treaties. We know that, that's for sure. We just have to watch what's in the news. Peace begins whenever one person refuses to continue an argument. That's the first step. That's the crack in the wall of hatred or argument or negativity. Whenever one family heals, whenever one neighbor reconciles, whenever kindness interrupts anger, the peacemakers build today and tomorrow. Peace of mind is the greatest gift you can give to yourself. Duty number 8, continue growing. The soul was never designed to stop learning. Why? Because you live as an eternal being for eternity. Think about that. You are a spiritual being in a physical body. But while you're here in the world, continue to read, continue to learn how to pray properly. Don't make deals with God. Ask for opportunities and be grateful. Learn how to meditate, contemplate. You know, when you're driving down the road and you're thinking about things, you're in a state of meditation. Learn how to expand that into a more formal way of disassociating the surroundings around you and allowing your mind to expand. Reflect on things, question things, remain teachable. You know, we all get to a certain point of familiarity and we think, I know it all, I know life, but every now and then life throws us a curve, a surprise, or a disaster, and or a blessing. Each day is another classroom. If you see it that way, every experience you will have is another lesson to yet again go up that ladder higher and higher and higher until you touch the feet of God. Duty number 9, leave every place better than you found it. Whether it's your home, your bedroom, your church, your workplace, your community, or simply someone's heart. Leave it better. It's easier to say kind things, and if you can't say kind things, don't say anything. Because if you say hurtful things, that's a boomerang you're throwing out, and those things will come back to you. It's better to it's better to send out kind things and receive the benefits of those kind things coming back than something else. One encouraging conversation you may have may echo in that person's mind for decades. Think about that. Can you still hear the words of a teacher or somebody that made an impression upon you, or perhaps mom or dad? Those words come back and here you are decades older. Never forget, you have that power to have an encouraging conversation, may save somebody's life, may turn them around, and you may bring them into the light. You may never know the lives you've changed, but it doesn't matter. You're not doing it so you can have notches on your belt or here to tell people how wonderful you've changed people's lives. Humility forbids it. To be kind allows you to continue to be doing good and not have a swelled head. Duty number 10, become a light. Not a spotlight. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. Instead, you want to be a lighthouse. Lighthouses never chase ships. They simply shine. People searching through darkness naturally find them. All you have to do is to be you. Have humility and kindness, and people will find you and want to be next to you or stand to you just because it feels good to be in your presence. That's because you're illuminating just like a lighthouse. Perhaps that's your calling. Not to convince everyone, but simply to shine. Okay, so here's something to remember from my good friend, amigo. 2 minutes to soul wisdom. I'll read it. Advice from my amigo. Hey, my friend, every morning when you wake, remember this. You are not simply beginning another day. You are beginning another opportunity to become a better version of yourself. The world doesn't need another angry voice. It doesn't need another critic. It doesn't need another expert telling everyone what's wrong. The world is quietly waiting for people, more people, who are willing to love. When you walk into a room, ask yourself, will this room become brighter because I entered it? When someone speaks to you, ask, can I leave this room with a little more hope than they actually had before? When life disappoints you, ask, what lesson is God trying to teach me? And before you go to sleep tonight, don't ask whether the world became better. Ask whether you became better. Because when one soul grows, all of humanity grows. When one light forgives, the world becomes a little more peaceful. When one person chooses love, heaven smiles. never underestimate the power of one awakened soul. History has always been changed by ordinary people just like you and me. These people decide to become extraordinary through their faith. They find things to do. They are ever busy helping. And you know what? The world helps them back. Remember, your soul was created not merely to exist, but to shine. So before we get to the questions, there's one thing I'd like to say to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here on my show. Please subscribe to my channel and please participate in our chat by asking questions. Oz, my producer, is right there, Jack Balick, and he'll help you and we can make you part of the show. Okay, so here we go for the next part of the show is to ask questions. I'm just going to make a slight adjustment to the lighting that is taking place here, if I can get it.
You're becoming the light, Douglas.
I have that. I have my lighting source is 93 million miles away,
Yeah.
and it's just shining through the top of my
Your window there.
yeah. Of course, we're in the great. We're north of. We're not quite north of the 49th parallel, but oh my gosh, that must be. I'm going to take that as a sign of God shining light on me as we're talking about light. Okay, so I hope that's better.
That's good. Yeah, looks good.
I can see. Okay, so I hope everybody's enjoying this show. It does help us if you'll subscribe to the channel and let everybody know. My website is douglasjamescottrell.com, and I'm here to help you. And you can see some of these fine books here. The one over here is Jack wrote, and I wrote the other couple that are there. So, okay, welcome to the show, my friends, wherever you are. We have a couple of questions before the end of the show.
Yeah, we got questions coming in from Facebook and YouTube tonight, so it's nice to see. The first one's from YouTube. It's from Eternist. It's Todd. He says, I grew up rebellious and learned to manage it. I reserve rebellious responses for circumstances where it will be constructive and not destructive. Any thoughts on that approach?
Well, that's part of what we're talking about tonight. It's a revolution of the soul. To be rebellious, that can come from a whole lot of previous turns at life here in the world at different experiences. But learning to be patient, combined with how to be rebellious, being willing to change things because somewhere in your psyche, in your heart, it's not right. You want to make constructive changes. This is great. A lot of people, I don't want to get involved. I avoid all kinds of confrontation. These are people that are dull in spirit. To sharpen the light is to be rebellious. Nothing wrong with it. After all, the Christ, he was rebellious, was he not? He came into the world to change the world. And I think there's a quote where he was going to put father against son, parent against child, child against child, brother against brother. He didn't come to be a adversity. He didn't come into the world to strike adversity. He came into the world to love. But again, human nature tends to be, confrontational. Learning to be rebellious and how to, I'm going to use the word manipulate it, how to act upon it is part of spiritual growth. Telling the truth, being patient, waiting for an opportunity to encourage people, to inform people. These are the signs of greatness that are within you. And some people come into the world, maybe like me and you, on a ray of confrontation. It's perfectly okay. But learning how to use that power and ability, that's a spiritual lesson that takes a few decades to learn. You don't want to be a revolutionary spirit for revolutionary sake. You don't want what you believe to be what everybody else believes. Might does not make right. Having great strength is a blessing, but the greatest strength of all is having that strength and not using it. And so learning how to handle yourself as a revolutionary, to make small changes, because you see, small changes are everlasting. Big changes, they come about in short order and then they revert back in short order. A lot of the changes that are taking place around the country, monuments going up, reflecting pool here, changes in how the government works, these are all sudden. They're all going to go away. They don't have the legs to last. So to be revolutionary means to present some idea that you hope will change the world, and then have the patience to work on it. And you will be successful if it's a worthy ideal. And then, of course, looking at your own values. Why are you doing this? Who's getting helped? Is anyone getting harmed? And those are all questions that you learn as a revolutionary. But from a perspective of being a little bit of a contrarian and a little bit of a revolutionary myself, it's better than to sit back and watch and say, I wish I had of. I should have done that. I could have done that at that time. And so those who are listening, I encourage you to take action, stand up to the strong when they're in the wrong, and make concessions for the weak. Zach?
Very good. We got a question from Nicole on Facebook.
Hi, Nicole.
Nicole. Mm-hmm. And Nicole is asking, what are some of the ways we can leave the world a little brighter every day? What are some steps to take to raise and hold a higher vibration?
Well, if you want to listen to the show again, I laid out several steps on how to do that here tonight. So the question is basically what the show is all about tonight: how to leave the world a better place. Well, number one, be kind. Number two, don't say anything that's going to hurt somebody else's feelings. Number three, listen carefully. Don't react. When somebody says something, don't respond. Count to 10 before you reply. And when you get something that's outrageous, one of those juicy rumors that's coming across on the TikTok or the social media, ask yourself, is that real? Can I confirm this? Does that make sense? And if you do this, you'll start to gain the wisdom of patience. And you'll find that your intuition will tell you that's baloney. Okay? When people are beraving and belittling other people, whatever their background, their race, their color, their opinion, their political affiliations, you have to remember, America was founded on the principle that everyone's created equal. And in the Constitution, read it, Americans have a constitutional right to be happy. It says so right in the Constitution. And so if you look at that and you say, how can I make the world a better place? It's like, you don't have to be goody two-shoes. You don't have to be so generous that you get taken advantage of. You have to give prudently, but you become the master of your life at that moment every day. You don't go looking to help people. They will come to you. I have a rule that I teach, and that is when somebody puts their hand out to you, directly to you, then you have an obligation to give them a coin or some help or something. How much you give them, that's your free will and free choice. But if they come directly to you, this is God sending them to you, and you're going to be their angel for that day. Okay? Now, don't turn away. And if you say, I gave you yesterday, and they're still back the next day, put another coin in their pocket or their hand. But if they don't come to you, then pass them by. That's the rule. At least it's the rule so far as I understand. I do not know the mind of God, but this is some of the practices we teach. So to make somebody happy, if they come to you, you're obligated as a spiritual person to help them. How much you help them, that's up to you. You can take them to the hospital. You can take them to the welfare office. You can give them $20 instead of $2. Okay? You go the extra step because what you're doing, you see, is you're paving your way. You're removing the blocks of prosperity that are in front of you. But don't condemn the person. Don't judge the person. And something I add too is when you do help somebody, introduce yourself. Say, hi, my name's Douglas. What's your name? And you might be the first person that ever took that courtesy to ask that person's name. And you know what? At that moment, you're giving them some dignity. So these are the little things, common courtesy. Remember, what you're seeing in someone else, you're seeing part of it in yourself. And so, how to make the world a little better, a little happier? Well, the whole show is dedicated to that, but those are some simple things you can do to get yourself started. And then remember, whatever comes to you, you go like, what's really going on here? Beware rumors, slander, belittling of other people, and jumping to conclusions about what those people are, how they're less than you, or how they're evil to you, or how they're going to hurt you or harm you. On a side note to that, in the news, there are human interest stories going on with the people who have come to America from faraway countries, and they're fans of the soccer teams. They are absolutely amazed at the wealth and the prosperity and the material of shopping centers and availability. One fellow was describing a store that was as big as a museum in the country he came from. He was talking about Walmart. Somebody else had a pizza, and he was amazed at the size of the pizza. It was an extra large one that was on the shelf or in a freezer at a grocery store. We take all these things for granted. Other people seeing what's available here from faraway places that don't have this. Oh my God, America, land of the brave, home of the free, and home of free for all. It's amazing. So remember, my friends, as a side note, that people are amazed at our country. We too should be grateful for our country. It's not what we don't have. It's not what some other political party's saying or doing. It's not what some politician is saying. Because the one thing that our friends from around the world, the fans of these other countries, they've realized that it's not the politicians that we associate with the people of the country. The people of the country are like you and I, ordinary people wanting to get along. The politicians are fighting it out for their own agenda, so we won't go down that path. But that's another thing to remember on how to treat other people. The people in the world coming to visit America. There was a fellow from Australia. He was on a beach in America, California beach, and he was just absolutely astounded with how beautiful the beach was. And he made the comment that at home he was told how ugly America was and how he had been lied to. He was incensed until he found the truth out himself. And let that be a lesson to all of us. Okay, Jack.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities. I was recently in Las Vegas and seeing people, right in the street. The streets are busy with people walking in the street. And there were people going into the trash can looking for things. I don't know what they were looking for, but, it was really kind of surprising at how many people there were that needed something,
Pardon me.
Yeah, we tend to take everything we have for granted, I think.
This is where, when you see things, my friends, like that, ask yourself, is there something wherewithal I can do something about this? Can I write a letter to my politician? Can I organize a group of people to come and give food to these people in need? Can I join some organization? Can I contribute to some legal fund that's going to help incarcerated children that are in these camps that the government has put them in? Is there something that motivates you and you feel motivated? Don't give up and say, oh, well, somebody else will do it. Go and do it yourself. But again, people are in need all around us now more than ever. And it's up to people like you and I, my friends, to participate. One step at a time, one brick laying at a time builds a whole wall. We don't have to build a whole wall in a day. But as we see something, do something about it. Just a little bit. Continue.
Okay. Let's see, another question. This is from Real on YouTube. Real asks, I've read that by the time Constantine was emperor and changed Christianity, Stoicism was woven into Christianity.
I wasn't there in that particular time. From what I know about Constantine, he decided to clean up the Christian movement because it was so fragmented. There were so many rules. There was so much confusion about what a Christian was or wasn't. He assigned 29, I believe it was, scholars, and he sent them off, and he said, "Come back with the Bible, or the heavily edited spiritual book." I don't know if it was called the Bible at the time, but in any event, they came back, and that's why the Bible has chunks that are missing. It's inconsistent. It doesn't seem to have a theme that a holy book would have that some of the other spiritual books are out there. It's because this was a political effort to establish Christianity in some fundamental basis. I'm going to say fundamental, like building the organization or the church itself. So I don't know about Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius, I'm not sure if that was before his time. It might have been. But the idea is, never mind what's in the books. Remember, above me is the universe. This is where God's realm is. This is where the information comes from that inspired the writers of all the different books that were put into the Bible. The book of Enoch, for instance, is not there in the sense that there's a whole book of Enoch that talks about a lot of different things than what you read in the King James Version of the Bible. How many versions of the Bible do we have even today? 30 different versions or something? So which one is the right one? Jack knows the answer probably better than me. But the idea is, get the information from above through meditation and dreams, and you'll know yourself. Now, Stoicism is a fine thing. There are all kinds of philosophers that have been to the world, from Confucius right through to present-day philosophers. The idea is that knowledge is what you're seeking, not the methodology of it. Your spiritual development doesn't matter what spiritual path you take. Christ said, "In my Father's house there are many mansions." Many mansions means many ways to be of service, to understand the spiritual laws, spiritual consciousness, higher octaves, higher planes, higher degrees of consciousness. That's why no one should say, "I know what's in the mind of God." It's impossible for a teeny tiny little mind or brain like ours to know what's out there in the universe. Impossible. So when people tell you they know what's in the mind of God, you go, listen to them. If they're making sense, say, well, they might know something in part, but for the better part of it, they cannot and they do not possibly comprehend the mind of God. But all these other different ideas, these different philosophies, the different ways to understand your consciousness, your illumination, your revolution of the soul, that's your single path. But there are many, many, many paths to choose from. And we're all on the same path individually together, are we not, Jack?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I just looked. There's over 900 different versions of the Bible and thousands of translations into other languages. So, I think for people, just pick one and read it from front to back, and you'll be amazed, really. It's quite an amazing book.
It'll get you started.
Yeah.
Look at it as a primer, right? To understanding the spiritual wisdoms Whatever holy book you read, it's a primer. In other words, there's a lot more to come from that God will give you, because this is what we're all about. This place is an educational place. Life is a place for a spiritual being like we are, housed in a human body, to understand the lessons that we're learning here, how to get closer to God. Oh, I'll add that because it pops in my head. Why are we learning how to get closer to God? Because we left God in the first place. We had free will and free choice, and we broke out of heaven. We went all over the heavens. We left the Christos, and now we're found out that, oh my God, it's pretty dark and cold and lonely out here in the universe. I want to go home. Okay, I gave you free will and free choice, so says God, or so I understand it. You can come back, but you have to find your way back the same way you left. And that, my friend, is the universal wisdom of why it's so hard to find God, because we have to find our own way back. However, angels, watchers, guides, divine beings, they're all on the way ahead of you. They're down the path a little further, and they're going, over here. Keep an eye out. You'll find them.
Very good. Well, we have a few questions about the Earth, I guess, because of some of the recent things that have occurred. In the Venezuela, from this too shall pass on YouTube, says Venezuelan earthquake seems to be ignored by most media channels. Why do some of the world events get focused on while others are not? Europe heat wave got more attention, it seems.
I'm going to disagree with that. Every day I watch the news, and I watch several of the larger news stations, and they're reporting, I think there's more than 1,400 deaths have been reported today, and I'm not sure how many thousand, 10,000 of people are missing. I've seen pictures of recovery, people working on going through the twin earthquakes and the destruction near Caracas and things like that. It's on all the day. It's not being ignored. You could go on, if you're watching TV, you go on any of the stations, CBS, NBC, CNN, Fox News, it's all there. And I watch a lot of news just because I do, and it's on the news all the time. Yes, the heat wave in Europe and in France, it's killing people. People are the highest number of people have drowned in France because they're jumping in the rivers in France. I guess those famous rivers, and they don't know how to swim. They're just doing it out of desperation. Of course, the heat wave is. I predicted all this too, by the way. Where's that book? This one over my shoulder, The New Earth. I predicted these things in 2011, that the Earth's oceans were going to raise, that we're going to have raise up in temperature to 4 degrees Celsius, which is 1 degree was really bad. 4 degrees is absolutely disastrous. Nobody could believe what I wrote in that book. 85% of all the predictions I've made have come true, and the rest are yet to be. We talked about volcanic activity. We talked about Mount Etna and Vesuvius being the signal for the speeding up, the acceleration of more earthquakes and more volcanic activity. So if you want to know more, that's on my website. It's available right now. I'm going to get myself a free plug for that. But the point is that everybody's paying attention, and humanitarian aid is pouring in from several of the countries, including the ones in South America, as well as Canada and America. And I'm not sure how far away, but a lot of resources and/or rescuers are on the job right now. Accordingly, I'm going to add this as a little bit of information. The government of Venezuela, rather, is being criticized because they don't know what to do. Apparently, they are making mistakes. They weren't prepared. They recently had I'm going to call it a change of government there, and I think they were not prepared for what's going on. And I'm gonna say that part of the problem is that the government of Venezuela but the world is responding, as it does always. This is one thing, Jack, I love about the world. Whenever there's a disaster, people from all over the world pour in aid, troops, millions of people, millions of dollars from people that are far away. And the fires, the wildfires that are going on, the bombers are coming, the Canadian bombers are going to rescue, like they did with the California fires a couple of years ago. The Canadian bombers were there. Those are the big yellow machines that scoop water up from the ocean or the lake and dump it on the fires. Everybody's responding because this is human nature. We want to help. We want to take care of each other. But anyway, to the caller, I disagree that the major news sources are not carrying the story. They're on. If you go to the TV and turn it on right now, within half an hour, you'll see updates on the number of people going up from 400 to 700 to 1,200 to 1,400. This is a way of preparing us, the world, that there's probably going to be 40,000 people that have lost their life. And just like in Turkey, when we were talking about that on this show, when that happened, all these people have lost their life in a moment. In a moment. When those buildings collapsed, when those earthquakes took place, thousands of people were dead immediately. That's just horrible. And so we say a prayer for those people, but to understand the power of nature and how those buildings were not earthquake prepared. They were pretty shoddy. Anyway, that's my personal opinion, and my pain of those families that were killed or injured. It just gets me right here. So let's everybody pitch in. If you want to contribute money, I've got nothing to do with fundraising there, but if you want to contribute money or you want to jump in a plane or in a car and go down and help, if you feel the calling, God bless you. Jack?
Very nice. All right. This is a question from YouTube on one of our videos. Do you have any potential timeline for the eruption at Yellowstone? And are you aware of any volcanoes in Alaska?
Yeah, there's volcanoes in Alaska. There's volcanoes in Iceland. Yeah, I think there was quite some concern about that. The temperature in Alaska is changing where the snowfalls aren't as abrupt. But I don't have a timeline. I have seen it. It goes something like Mount Etna and Vesuvius are both going to erupt. Then there's going to be something in Japan, then something on the west coast, and then we'll have Yellowstone. I've seen the explosion. It's going to be like a wall of lava coming across the country. All the highways will be closed down. Trucks won't be able to drive north or south, and all the planes will be grounded because of the volcanic ash. I am sorry to say. Good side, everybody have 6 months worth of potatoes and canned goods and some water all stored up. And if you're living east of, I guess that's in Wyoming, you should be prepared to maybe hit the road and go north or south if you're close to where that plume of ash is going to fall. It's going to be very hot and it's going to be choking. I actually had a vision of that taking place. There's a small airport directly east of Old Faithful, I guess, and I was in that airport in the vision, watching the wall of lava come by, and everything was hot to touch. So, to those who have ears, you know, for those who have ears, let them listen. I guess it's the cliche, but I don't have a timeline. I don't have either. It's more like the Earth doesn't have dates; it has events. Right now, the Earth is wobbling. The jet stream is going off. The oceans are heating up, which is causing all kinds of problems in the ocean. And I'll bet you if there were people who had equipment, they could find that there's a lot of cracks opening up in the deepest parts of the ocean, which is why all the sea creatures are running up to the shorelines and coming up from the deep levels of the sea. Something I predicted in my book here again. Okay, a couple more questions, Jack.
No, that's about it for this evening.
Well, okay. Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Jack and I love you participating in the show. I hope that we've been helpful tonight and we've been able to answer some of your questions, give you some insights. Remember, the Declaration of Independence gave birth to a nation. The teachings of spiritual beings like the Christ gave birth to a new humanity. One changed the course of history, the other changes the course of eternity. May God bless America. May God bless Canada. May God bless the UK and all the nations who seek peace in the world. May God bless every nation that seeks liberty, justice, and peace. And may God bless you, my friends, wherever you are in the world. We trust that you will have peace of mind, opportunities that will come to you. Please pray for the same. Be grateful for what you have and be kind and helpful. If you find yourself moved by someone's experience, participate in helping them or some group of people. To all those people that have been participating in the parades this weekend, God bless each and every one who is attempting to live their life in peace. I'm your host, Dr. Douglas James Cottrell, co-produced Jack Balick. You're listening to the Soul Report Live. Until next time, good night and good luck. God bless.